Today we're back on the Cresta again. We've been at Hypertune for the last couple of days building a new turbo setup. They've made us a new exhaust manifold, a new dump pipe, new screamer pipe, and also new intercooler piping. So it's been really cool, and thanks again to Hypertune for the help. But today we're actually going to pull all of that back off, and we're going to completely heat proof the hot side of the engine bay. So that's going to be heat shielding, heat wrapping, putting fire sheath on plumbing and all sorts of other stuff. So pretty excited to get that done today. And then that means that at Drag Week this year, we're not going to set things on fire like we did last year. So onwards and upwards, my friends. You guys may or may not be able to tell, obviously this is the new turbo. It's a lot bigger than our old one. We were running a Garrett GTW 3884. We've now gone to the brand new Garrett G42. We actually bought this turbo via a reseller. We didn't get it direct from Garrett. But the guys that we did buy it from, Pro Speed Racing, they hooked us up really well. So thanks to those guys. Yeah, if you have a bit of a look, you can see we've changed all the intercooler piping, the dump pipe. But that's also meant that we also need to replumb a lot of stuff. So if we get time, we'll probably do a bit more plumbing today. But the aim is to basically rip all the new stuff out and heat proof the engine bay as best we can, which is going to be heat shields, and even we'll probably end up putting some stuff on the bonnet just to get the most heat treatment that we can in the bay. The heat shields are actually designed to reflect and divert the heat. And then also having the air gap behind the heat shields a massive help as well. So if we can, we're going to try and set the heat shield off of things, not directly touching things, because directly touching will then mean there's a potential to transfer the heat from the shield to the thing you're trying to protect. So yeah, the biggest thing to remember when you're doing heat shielding is actually to have an air gap between the heat shield and the component you're trying to protect. So I'm going to rip this apart, and then we're going to start putting some shields in. Little handy tip or trick is to get some of these little AN caps. This particular one's a -6, and we use these all the time for just plugging up water or oil lines or other like transcooler lines or things like that. So it stops dirt getting in, but more importantly, it also stops the fluid leaking out of the part you're pulling off. So in this particular application, we're going to use this cap on both of the -6 water lines, and we've also put one on the oil drain on the sump, just to seal it all up. So in the course of the day when we're pulling things on and off, we're not going to have water spilling out everywhere all over the floor and then slipping over and things like that. So I'd recommend to just grab a couple in every size. I've got them from -3 to -10 or maybe even -12. So they're $4 or $5 each. So you just need to put them on finger tight. You don't even need any tools or anything to actually tighten them up. So highly recommend this one. Hooray! One stainless steel dump pipe. Lid flex, but okay. We got everything stripped off, so it was all pretty simple. It's actually laid out better now with the new setup than it was with the old one, so it's nice and easy to be able to get in there and just pull stuff apart quickly. Because if we do have to do something like that in a drag week or a drag challenge scenario, we know we can quickly get stuff on and off, and there's no major headaches. Onto heat shielding now. We've got this sheet of aluminium heat shielding. There's also steel style heat shielding available. It's very similar. This is from a company called DCI. They're an Australian company. It's Australian made as well. These guys actually took over and started making heat shielding for Ford just as they were closing down. So a bit sad that these guys aren't doing Australian OE stuff anymore, but they are still doing OE stuff for other manufacturers around the world. So cool to see that there is still some manufacturing in Australia. We're going to rip this heat shield out of its packaging, and a tip that Matt from DCI actually gave me was to use the cardboard packaging that it comes with as the template, because you know exactly how big your template's going to be based by the fact that the packaging's no bigger than the heat shield. So we're going to cut the shield out, and then we're going to lay the cardboard in and start to have a look and work out where it goes. Also a good rule of thumb, if you can fold the cardboard in a place, you'll be able to fold the heat shielding in the same place. So it's good to work around sort of complex curves and stuff. It's pretty easy to bend. They gave us a little quick demo when we were speaking to those guys at MotorX. So it's a really good product, and yeah, we're keen as to get using it in our car. So we'll unpack it and start playing cardboard heat shields. This is how Ben cut his guts open. We've more or less got the basic shape of the shield roughed out. We're going to now lay this cardboard template onto the heat shielding material. One thing you do need to keep in mind when you're making the heat shield is you need to add 10 mil to every single dimension on the outer edge, because you actually need to fold that material back on itself, kind of like that. It basically locks both halves together, because at the moment it's actually two sheets that are just sitting on top of each other, and they've just got a couple of staples in them. So yeah, it's definitely crucial that you actually oversize the shield and then fold it back on itself, otherwise it's just going to separate and fall apart. So good little handy tips, and CAD is the weapon of choice, cardboard aided design, so that'll keep us making shields all day, I reckon. So we'll cut this one out and see how badly I muff it up.
Is that your tag?
No, it says exhaust manifold. With this particular heat shielding material, it is actually directional, so there's a absorbent side or a reflective side kind of setup. So you can feel it, and if you can feel like a lot of dimples coming out, that's the side you want to put onto the exhaust manifold if it's in an exhaust application. And if you're protecting a component, you actually want it the other way around, so the dimple's facing the exhaust. So it will work the other way, but it's a lot more effective if you use it correctly. So yeah, I've even labelled my template exhaust manifold side for the side that the manifold's on, obviously. So putting that face down, this is the back side of the shield, so we're using it in the correct application. I only learnt this by actually reading the instructions that come with the material, so I do recommend to read instructions from time to time. This is one of those times, so handy little tip. Oh well, getting chopped up now. Got my left-handed tin snips. They're actually right-handed, so this is going to end really badly. Wish me luck. We'll be right. Or maybe I'll stop and cut it right-handed. I guess we'll never know. So far, so good. Tin snips haven't caught on fire yet, so they're obviously working all right. Got the round bar skeleton all done for our heat shield. This is the top section anyway. So I'm going to weld two little tabs onto this. It's actually going to bolt to some existing bolt points in the bay. And then I'm actually going to weld a few more little tabs to that so we can bolt our heat shield material to this. So basically gives a nice compact shape without having it sort of just flapping around in the breeze or anything like that. So it's sort of tucked right in there and out of the road. Now comes the fun part. We're going to attack some heat wrap. We're just going to wrap the top section of the dump pipe. I'm not going to do the bottom half. It doesn't really need to be shielded from about here down anyway, just because of where it is. There's arguments as to what the heat wrap does and doesn't do, but for our particular application, wrapping it from there to there is going to be fine. We're going to use some hose clamps to hold it in place while we wrap it. Then once we're happy with the positioning of it, we're going to put stainless steel cable ties on it and then remove the original hose clamps. I find it's a bit neater. The biggest issue with stainless steel cable ties is making sure you cut them off properly, because all the ones I see on everything, they always cut them too long and then you just guaranteed to slice yourself. So if you're going to use stainless cable ties on anything, make sure you cut them off neatly and bend the tab or try and rotate them so that they're on the back of the dump pipe or somewhere that you're not going to slice your hands on, because it's not fun. Believe me, I know. But we're going to crack this open and we're going to wrap the top section of the dump, and then we're going to throw it all back together. Also, it's a good idea to wear gloves with that fiberglass heat wrap, because it's mega itchy if you get it, or when you get it on your skin. It's not if, it is definitely when. So chuck some gloves on, good workshop gloves. These particular ones are from Haltech, but you can get all sorts of different ones. They're just leather palmed, so you're not going to get any issues. I have seen even with rubber gloves before, because the fibers are so small and so sharp, they can actually go through the latex gloves. So something that's a bit more heavy duty is probably a bit of a better option. So we'll roll this wrap out and then have a look how much we're going to need roughly, and then we'll cut it from the roll. I'm not going to cut it till we know how much we need, because otherwise we're always going to end up with too much, or you're going to go throwing away bits that long and it's just, you can't do anything with it and it's just a waste. So try and measure out your run before you go cutting off the roll, because otherwise you're just wasting product, and then you'll find you come to do a job and you'll be 6 inches short on your roll, and then you got to go and buy another roll for 6 inches. We now have all of our heat protection materials laid out in the bay. We've got them all mounted properly. I'm happy with how it's all sort of tied in together. We've also got our dump pipe wrapped. So not much left to do, and then we're off to get it tuned. Today we're here at Just Engine Management to tune the Cresta, and we're going to break in their hub dyno. So it's going to be pretty cool. Scotty from Haltech's actually already inside, so we're about to take the car in and load it up on the hub dyno. So let's get into it. Party time.
Oh my god.
Woo! Saw 430 or so.
Happy?
Rods are still in it.
I'm very happy that the numbers, all I'm doing is watching the mixtures to make sure that that on and off part is still good and it feels good. 424 kilowatts, Jesus Christ.
Not a bad turbo, eh?
I think the next thing that we're going to do is tap this across and let's give it a run and see what happens.
Go full send. That was our first pull with the new configuration. Scotty smashed a couple of numbers in. That's just gate pressure, which is 24 PSI. And we've already done 895 horsepower, or for our metric friends, 667 kilowatts. So that's the most this car's ever made by a fair chunk. So it's pretty exciting. And we're only just beginning, so we may be jamming over 35 pound in this, so we'll see what happens.
Everything the same, except we're going to go try and target 26 instead of 24 pounds. And that's it. 26.
1,000 horsepower, here we come. We're getting close, Scotty.
We're
On how much boost pressure was that?
opening the log now to have a look. So we're in the right ball. Everything's coming together now. So we're
Just being happy.
Adam looks happy. He's wandering away. So that means that if he's happy, I'm pretty happy too.
Oh, he's a bit trapped.
So we've done 24, done 26. Now I want to do 28, and then we'll do 30. Or you want to get back to 30?
I don't care. 30 pounds, send it.
At the moment, the whole car, like if you kind of said, oh yeah, it's making 420 kilowatts, you go, oh, that makes sense, that's about right, this feels good. We put some numbers in it and the gap got bigger.
He's getting bigger.
That's good.
We just made 732 kilowatts or 981 horsepower. We're well on the way to 1,000. Scotty's just added another 2 degrees of timing and 2 degrees of and 2 psi of boost. So it's just adding and then seeing what the engine's doing and if it's happy, and at this stage it's just eating it up. So Scotty's just wrangling the keyboard like a boss and we're continuing to passage.
Here we go.
Yeah, boy. What a machine. And that's just the tuner.
1,000!
That's sick. We've just made 811 kilowatts or 1,088 horsepower. What boost was that on, Scotty? Scotty,
Yeah!
what boost was that?
1,000!
What boost was it?
Oh,
All of it?
33.
That was on 33 psi, so yeah, we're nearly at 1,100 horsepower. Pretty exciting. Well, Scotty, you knocked it out of the park as usual. We've made just about 1,100 horsepower. It's a pretty amazing result, so thank you very much again.
You're more than welcome
for the help.
It's probably a bit surprising, I suppose, for the boost pressure that it's got, the low boost and the low power number, and then what we've ended up with is it's remarkable.
Yeah, because I guess in the early stages of us having this conversation, you kind of threw out boost numbers like 40 or 45 pound to get the result we ended up with at around 34 pounds. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with that turbo.
Awesome turbo. The engine's obviously working and is amazing. And I say that because we've taken our time today, but we didn't actually do a lot of work. You know what I mean? We've kind of just crept up on it, done a pull, gone back and checked the data. Yep, that makes sense. Give it another pull, more power, more power, more power. So by the time we've got to where we are, we've tuned 2 pounds at a time, up and up and up. So we've got all your different power levels. And now all you need to do is sort of dial it into the track.
Yeah. I guess a lot of that's built on the backbone of the already really good tune that you put in it last time, though.
It is, and I suppose
it's a bit of a building block on top of what was already there.
It definitely helps to be able to tune a factory one first, and then
grow on that tune.
Yeah, it makes sense because you don't want to wear out something like this. It does have a life, you know, so you don't want to be belting it on the dyno. Mate, the turbocharger, 42.
Yeah, I'm converted. I was a little bit worried I might have gone a bit large on some of the housing choices and stuff, but it comes up nice and easy on the converter. Like at 4,100 RPM, it's making 12 pound of boost, and as you saw, it's just happy. So,
and well, at the moment, there's nothing really going on. Like we're kind of stopping because it's making good numbers.
That's just where we want to be at. It's not. We haven't really found the limit of anything. That's just where we're happy to run the car at.
I suspect that it's going to take you a bit of time to get on top of it now that it's got
It's
that
gonna be a
much
different
more.
machine. Yeah.
I think it's a good round number to say it makes 1100. All right, go and run it and see what happens.
Well, with that in mind, I guess it's off to the track.
Well, we'll have to sneak out and have a bit of a look. See, I'm sure the first few passes will be exciting when that comes on.
Oh, I'm a little bit unprepared for it, but I think the first pass I'll just do on gate pressure.
Yeah.
So only 700 kilowatts.
Which is
Still,
150, 200 more than you
Yeah.
had? 150 more?
yeah.
So that's even that is like 150 kilowatts is
That's
good,
a good
good
little
gain.
gain. Yeah, that's probably what, an 880 if we can get a clean pass down.
I'm going to laugh if it goes 9003 or something,
Don't
just again,
even,
because it's funny.
Don't even. Thanks a lot,
All
Scotty.
right.
Appreciate
Pleasure.
it.
No dramas, man.
No
Thanks for
worries.
letting us have a bit of a sticky to beat.
Thank you. And also thank you to Adam at Just Engine Management for allowing us to use his brand new mainline hub dyno today. So
Hub
big shout
dyno?
out- Big
Oh.
shout out to Adam. And then the hub just makes it so much better for tuning, right? Like it's super consistent
Man.
and it just works.
So easy, and it's not terrifying as it comes on boost that you think it's about to jump off.
We're not blazing tyres like
Yeah.
the first time we
And-
tried to tune this.
And run after run after run, you get accurate
100%
power.
consistency.
So I know exactly how much ignition time I need to put in, if the boost is making a difference, not if the tyre's hot or cold or it's about to spin or any of that. Like,
Yeah.
it takes all the guesswork out and makes it feel like you're tuning a 300 kilowatt car. Like, just doesn't matter. Yeah.
Awesome.
Killing
Thanks
it.
again.
All right.
Cheers, Scotty.
G'day.
That's a different animal now. Get really? Yeah, bro. Wait, that was only on like 28 pounds. Today's the day. Exactly 1 year ago, we were in this same place dropping the Cresta off to the same depot to send to America. And here we are again. Got the car loaded, got a crate on the back of the ute which has our spare barrow in it. And fingers crossed, awesome, there's no line today. We might get out of here in under 3 hours today. Just park up here quickly, I'll go and sign in at the office. And then in about 3 hours, you'll probably see me again. There you have it. We're Crestaless again. Exactly a year ago, we were in the same position. The car's now in the shed. They're going to prep that and then hopefully it'll go in the container in the next couple of days. And then this time next week, it'll be on a boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean somewhere. And in 30-something days, it'll then be unloaded in Charleston, South Carolina, ready for Drag Week 2019. Drag Week this year, we're going to really try and step it up a bit. We know the car's got a lot more in it than it did last year. We've already run 8.3 in Sydney. So I guess we'll see what happens by the end of Drag Week, but I'm pretty keen to put the barrow on the map again for Drag Week this year.